Hey everybody, this is Maury from the Performance Lab, and this is Mansur Ivie. Mansur is one of our good friends. He is actually somebody that reached out to me, the first quarterback coach to reach out to me and wanted to talk about the lab and what we're doing over here. And so we wanted to get him on for a conversation, talk about some biomechanics, kind of break down the whole overall body here. And I think Coach always brings very, very good knowledge. I love talking to him because there's so much so in depth about everything. And so, Coach, we wanted to start by first saying, what are some, well, thanks for being on.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. And so what are some common things that you see in quarterbacks throwing that, you think that the audience can use, some nuggets that they could use to look into their own throw?
Sure, totally. When I work with athletes, it's important that we always have an end goal in mind. Right, there's always an objective that we're working towards, and they want to play college football. And so, despite what a lot of coaches say and things of that nature, ball speed is something they desire. That arm strength, right? That mysterious catch-all that coaches refer to, arm strength, ball speed. So that's extremely important.
Okay.
And so with
do you do anything to kind of develop ball speed, arm strength?
I mean, there's a couple of, kinesthetic things, biomechanic things that you need to look at and that need to be accomplished in order for someone to maximize, their full potential arm strength, whatever that may be. And there's other factors that play into it, fast twitch muscle fibers, limb length. I mean, there's tons of stuff that really, really plays a part of it.
See the depthness that Coach will get into? You can already tell just by that.
Exactly. So, the number one thing is that ability to effectively transfer weight.
You want to be able to, get a good understanding of all the different influences that play on being a quarterback. It's not just the 1 to 2 hours that you're out there on the field that will make it so you end up to be a top quarterback or you don't end up to be a top quarterback. There's a lot that has to do with it that are outside influences, such as how do you sit in the course of a day, making sure that your spine's in a good position, shoulders in a good position. Also, how do you lift weights? When you have the bar up overhead, is that something that is stable for you? Also, do you bench a lot? If you bench too much, you end up having scapula out of place. Yeah.
Guilty.
Then you end up having the scapula out of place, and it makes it much more difficult to create all the things that come into a throw. So, once you start to get something like more pec activation and talking about, weight transfer, you might end up trying to transfer your weight too early to make it so you get more pecs involved, which, could be great for when you're throwing 10 or 15 yards first starting off the throw, but then once you have to go and put 45 yards on the ball or something like that, you end up having to use all arm because of weight transfer. So, maybe a case like that, Coach, what would be, something that you do, somebody you've noticed that's using a lot of arm, or maybe even somebody that is very, very pec dominant? Is there anything that you kind of see with those types of guys?
Now, when it comes to throwers, guys that are really pec dominant, it's going to be really apparent in their finish. So we'll expose that weakness, we'll make them aware of what it is, and then from there, what we'll do is coach them how to correctly move. That's the first thing I'll try to do. So I'll try to coach them on how to correctly move. Okay, so you can't make that throw, and this is why. That's because the pec has taken over the movement of the arm path, if you so call it. So that's one big, it's usually in the finish. You won't see it too early in the throw because, they're just stretching and it's stretched. But as soon as it comes to bringing the arm overhead and getting it forward of the shoulder, that's when you'll really see it take over. And what that causes, again, to put it back into a quarterback world, is it causes an inability to finish some throws that you may need to make in bad situations. And so that's, just to reiterate, that's kind of where we start. And then we kind of show them, hey, you can't make this throw because this is happening.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why that's happening. And then, again, what I try to do is I try to fix it just through teaching them proper movement. Now, if that pec is so overdeveloped and so tight, that's where, I come to you for guidance and bring them into you so you you can take it from there.
Yeah.
Just start to get out
Yeah,
of my wheelhouse.
I mean, another thing that I was going to go off of that too is on the reverse side, a lot of times you'll have the guys that are using too much pecs are a inability to get good external rotation behind the head. So, you know, they'll end up kind of being shorter back in the cocking phase, I guess, and then end up transitioning again early, right? Because they want to get that pec involved as fast as possible. And so, you know, one big thing that would stand out, I guess, because, you know, for fixing that would be getting those external rotators to be active and fixing that part of the motion and making it so that phase would be very smooth and transition-like. You know,
information that gets thrown around, right? Well, you can't throw the ball far because you're not strong. Well, yes and no. It could be that you're not strong, but at the very same time, it could be an inability to transfer the force you've generated through the cocking phase of the throw, right, to the finish. Or it might be you have an abbreviated cocking phase. You know, so it's very important, and I think that's where the lab comes into such great benefit, is that there's not a one-size-fits-all. I mean, I guess if anyone's going to take anything away, I would appreciate if they took that away. There is a one-size-fits-all to your problem.
And that's where, you know, Coach even found us, right? He was even looking and saying, you know, I'm trying to look deeper into the throw. I can't find a place or I don't have the ability with all my GoPros around here to do that. And so, you know, he reached out to us, and since then it's been really, really an awesome relationship, because we can look deeper into that throw and provide that data that he's looking for, and then we can apply it to, or he applies it to the kid, which is, that's, in my opinion, that's how you get the fastest response, right? So if you have a guy that has shortness of the pecs or overuse in the pecs, we want it to be identified. We want it to be understood through muscle activation and retaught through muscle activation and cueing by the coach. And then to me, it just shows the attention to detail, and I think that is extremely, extremely important, especially in something as complex as the throw. You know, if you I think all quarterback coaches know that there is a lot that goes into throwing, and there's so much small movement patterns that are the difference between a 10-yard difference in terms of, you know, length of throw, and 10-mile-per-hour difference in terms of velocity. And so, you know, we really try to focus on those small things the best we can, because without it, we wouldn't be able to get the success that we want for the athletes.
Right. Or sustained performance, or, you know, what I like to tell my guys is I want you always ready to compete.
Well, thanks so much for having the conversation here, Coach. If you want to find out more about him, you can send him an email at
coach.ivie@gmail.com, and that's Ivie.
All right, coach.ivie@gmail.com. And if you want to find out more about the lab, we got a website will be attached here. And thanks so much for watching.